Hey, and welcome to the Ask Amadeus show. Today, it's going to be a real estate episode. So, if you are not interested in hear about real estate and statistics and things like that, then this one's not for you. Okay, but this one, if you want to know what's going on in the New York real estate market, this one is for you. Specifically about quarter three in Manhattan and Brooklyn. That's what we're covering today. Obviously, we have other areas of New York, but these are the two that I like to cover for the most part. All right, let's get right into it. Manhattan market report Q3 2020. It's no secret that there's been a lot of moving out of New York recently. There is the COVID pandemic. It's 15 days to slow the spread. We're going on 6-7 months now. We also had rolling lockdowns that are reinstituted, not in Manhattan, but in other areas of Brooklyn. Crime is, relative to 2 or 3 years ago, it's way up. Historically, it's still way down compared to other parts of New York, or other histories of New York. So let's get right into it. This is from Compass, which is the company that holds my real estate license right now, and these reports are available from many brokerages. There's another one called Samuel Miller, which is a big analytics data company where they're compiling data. A lot of this is taken from the Acris websites, RLS, OLR, things of that nature. So the COVID pandemic has altered real estate activity in Manhattan, but the industry remains resilient as buyers look for more space and good deals, particularly in certain price ranges, including ultra luxury sector. So as we always talk, I say that the market is segmented. There's so much housing in New York. It's a massive city. It's one of the biggest cities in the world, one of the biggest cities in America. It's set up on a grid system on an island, and then you have the outer boroughs, which are massive. So it's really different, and you have the difference between a $500,000 apartment or a $5 million apartment are very different. So one thing we've been seeing is the ultra luxury sector has been taking a big hit. So there are big sales going on, but it's come down quite a bit. So overall sales were down 36% in the third quarter year over year, but it has a couple bright spots, So in addition to ultra luxury homes and units with more than 3 bedrooms, Q3 saw an uptick of an apartment's price between $3 and $5 million. I want to say a caveat here is because the previous quarter two, it went down significantly. So moreover, Q3 activity was up compared to the last quarter, a testament, like I just said, to the resilient and agents adapting to the new reality. A couple of notable figures. There's currently over 10,000 apartments for sale just in Manhattan alone. That's 36% up compared to year over year. That's an unprecedented high. I hate the word unprecedented. We're done. We're retiring that word. Come up with something more original and unique. Come on. 45% were new listings. That means those are from this quarter. They weren't on the market in quarter two. So it's a spillover from the spring season. And if you've listened to my other shows, obviously if you live in New York, we have a very heavy season. It goes from March to, or even February to now, basically November, and then it drops off significantly. It's similar to other markets. The weather has a lot to do with it, holidays, but obviously everything is different because of COVID and people aren't traveling, school's not coming in. So these factors did play a role. Now they're not as much. New York continues to show grit. Schools started reopening. That's not true, not everywhere. They're kind of, in New York, they're going into kind of like a staggered ship where you have a couple kids, certain grades come in certain days and certain grades come in other days at certain times. I live next to a school. It's been nice that it's been quiet. Let's be serious. There's the kids like to have fun after school. But there's opportunities to buy homes. If you're looking in New York right now, the interest rates are really low, and especially on the high end. A lot of times, with interest rates low, people who own high priced properties, high income people, they have the ability to leverage themselves. So they can leverage themselves quite a lot, and they have second, third homes, and they might be utilizing their Hamptons home, New Jersey home, staying with family, and maybe in upstate. As like we talked about, the market's been quite good upstate New York right now. So there's the methodology, how we do these things, like I said before, we talk about median price, which is the middle price of given data set. Average price is the sum of all prices divided by all the total number of properties. If you've done any math in elementary school, you know these things. And it's only for the current quarter. And time on the market is one big factor as well, indicating how much interest for buyer and how urgent buyers are. This is calculated by how many properties entered contract during the quarter given period. And months of supplies is another one. It's an estimate of time that it would take to sell all current active listings based on a 12-month trailing sales rate. So how much is on the market based on the sales rate of the last 12 months. That's months, quote unquote, months of supply. And simple things. Inventory is how much is there, contracts signed, how much is there. High-end activity drove prices higher. I don't like this kind of data because New York is one of those places where you have 50, 60, 70 million dollar homes that can skew a data set, especially when the numbers are down. So if you have less transactions, but you have high-end transactions, it skews the data a lot. So I don't really like that metric. And like we were saying, it's segmented. So for Manhattan, this is all of Manhattan. Average sales price, $2.298 million. The median sales price is $1.1 million. Average condo price, $3.2. Average co-op price, $1.29. Average sales price per square foot is $1,345. Average days on market, 194 days on market. The average discount is 14%. That means off the list price what it's selling for. So if it's $1 million, it's going for 860,000. So, and 42% of the properties took more than 180 days to enter contract. So that's up a lot from previous years. We are talking, even just last year, 70 days, 90 days. So that's a big jump. Recorded sales, 48% of condos and 53% of co-ops were on the market for at least 180 days. That's quite a lot. Significantly fewer one-bedroom condos were sold compared to last quarter, while 2 and 3 and 4 bedrooms and above units were notably more in demand. This is people who want to stay in the city and think that this might be a long-term trend, utilizing interest rates to get leverage their purchasing power. One bedrooms and condos have been seeing a little bit of a dip for obvious reasons. People, if they know they're staying at home, they want to have more space. The median price of one bedroom properties fell 5%, while 2 beds climbed to 7%. Like I said, the data is always chopped up, so it's like any information. Even you watch the news, you can spin data however you want. So you got to really get into the nuances of what you are looking for. And condos and co-ops had greater discounts than usual. No surprise there. Co-op sales distribution by one bedroom count was typical, but condos saw less fluctuation. Let's talk about year-over-year data because you can, if you want to go to look at any of these reports, just do Compass NYC market reports, and it's for every quarter. We have other ones in LA, Denver, San Francisco, all over. If you want some help finding them, just message me at Marcus Amadeus on social media. Subscribe to the podcast, Ask Amadeus. Find me on YouTube, Marcus Amadeus on YouTube. So number of units year over year down 31%, which is significant. Median price, 18%. Sorry, that's inventory. Inventory up 31%. Median price dropped or went up actually to 1.7. Average price 3.2. Average price per square foot kind of remained the same, only 2%. And average square footage went up a lot. So that's what we were saying before. Larger units with larger prices are skewing the data. This is in Manhattan specifically. Co-op sales seeing 40% more or 40% less in units on the market. Median price remained flat. Average price is up 13%, and average price per square foot is down 4%. Average size is remained the same. And, you know, if you're not familiar, condos, or you own the property. Co-ops, you own shares, and you're given a specific lease that gives you a specific apartment. So, and as you can see over here for Q3, you know, 37% of the sales are 1 to 3 million. That's typically we're seeing most of the sales between under 2 and under 1. So this is a big shift. And this is another one, okay? So look, price per square foot, it's completely skewed by these $20+ million apartments. So that's something you need to be aware of. And again, average size skewed on the higher end. So the $500 to $1 million and the $1 to $3 million brackets saw the highest market shares with 35% and 37%, but it fell 2% compared to last year. Properties sold for 3 to 5 had the most market share growth out of any price point. People upgrading to larger homes. Interest rates are now at what, 2.7, something like that for 30 years. That's significant. It's easier to leverage yourself if you want to. So, but you know, don't want to over leverage yourself. Don't do that. It's not a good idea. Ultra luxury condo buyers made their moves this quarter with nearly twice as many sales with significantly higher price points, 58% higher, median 52% higher. Downtown continued to have the most sales, but had 5% less market share than the previous year. Upper East Side, FiDi, Battery Park City saw the most growth in sales, increasing 3% and 2%. Midtown had the highest average price, a result of a number of high-end sales, but also the second lowest median price. The average price of condos was highest in Midtown East, while the Upper East Side had the highest for co-ops. And again, this is going back to percentage of inventory. 1 beds, 2 beds, most inventory. The new listing inventory, again, 1 beds, 2 beds. This is convo inventory, just breaking it down in price points, which is a better skew of things. Also, you have each neighborhood's different. You know that. New York was built in different stages and different inventory, different building structures, pre-war, post-war. The new development boom in the early 2000s to 2010, 11 to 16, continuing now. A lot of building is still going on. I'm not going to get too much into this. If you want to look at it, you can. It's just breaking down the data I had before. Same with the co-ops. We're going to pass on that. And that is it for Manhattan. Let's move into Brooklyn. Brooklyn Market Report Q3 2020. That's beautiful. Look at that beautiful it's a beautiful picture. If you're listening to the audio, tune on to the YouTube. We do kind of like an OBS type style video that goes along with it, and sometimes I put on my Facebook page. So the Brooklyn market has been it's been a juggernaut over the last years. I say this a lot. One reason that the Brooklyn real estate market had such a boom is because we had a lot of tax incentives for builders post 2009 to 2010, the subprime mortgage crisis. To incentivize builders to come to Brooklyn and build, we have extremely low taxes. So if you bought one of these like 3-4 unit condos up to 10-20 units, like mid-level units in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, Gowanus, downtown Brooklyn, more like with residential. The more commercial and higher vertical it goes, the taxes are higher. So if you're off those zonings, you have a little bit less. But you know, it's known that you can have $2-3 million 3-unit buildings in Williamsburg or Greenpoint where your taxes for the entire year are like $6,000, even less. I have a house coming up in South Slope. It's a 2-family and it's like $300 a month for the taxes. So overall sales were down 37% in Q3 year over year. That's 37%. The sales are down. That's volume. The transactions, the turnovers. From Q2 when the borough saw 67% decline. So 67%, that was like height of COVID. We're up from Q2, but 37% down from last year. So you follow me? The decline this quarter is not indicative of market trajectory, as Brooklyn continues to be an attractive option for buyers to seek more room, outdoor space, and well-priced homes. I live in an area called Park Slope. It is a low-rise area, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories max. And these homes have been doing well. Outdoor spaces are a premium. Walkability, the parks, prospect to Prospect Park, proximity to Prospect Park. Also, the Open Streets program has saved a lot of the restaurants. So if you go out Friday, I think it's Friday and Saturday, maybe it's just Saturday. Areas like Vanderbilt in Brooklyn, 5th Avenue, 7th Avenue, shut down the streets, and it's fun. Till 11 o'clock, it's got sort of, it's got a different vibe. I don't know why we took so long to do this, and it makes the traffic a lot easier. It's not easier, but it's given the foot traffic back to the citizens. It's much harder to do that in Manhattan for obvious reasons. So Brooklyn is evident by the median price in the borough climbing 2% to $792,500 compared to Q3 last year. So year over year, it's up 2%. So that's a continuation. It's a trend that's been happening for years. It was really hot for 13, 14, 50. It's cooled down a little bit, but it's still a place people want to be. And especially if people aren't going back to the offices, they're working from home. Brooklyn's a great place to be. Similar to Manhattan, contract activity and sales in the luxury range have rebounded to pre-COVID levels. Like we said, unlike the neighboring borough, overall inventory declined. So Brooklyn has definitely rebounded better than Manhattan for those specific reasons. You have 3-unit co-ops. You can buy an apartment in a 3-unit building. Not a lot of COVID interactions. Not a lot of rules with your 500-unit building. Less density. The price point that you can buy apartments, you get a little bit more bang for your buck. Although that's kind of changing because, if you go to some of these places, the Upper East Side that traditionally were much more expensive, things in prime neighborhoods like Cobble Hill, Brooklyn Heights, Park Slope, it's can be more expensive, so it just depends. And like I said, the high-end activity is skewing the data. Most notably, the 2+ million market has experienced minimal impact from the pandemic and economic uncertainty, while the single-family inventory fell 24% year over year. So inventory is down, with the median price average sales increasing 3%. That makes a lot of sense. But that's typically if inventory falls 24% and it only goes up 3%, it still has some room to recover. So co-ops fared moderately with decreases in high-end inventory. Co-ops don't turn over as much. It just takes more time. You can't use them for investment units. There has to be a primary unit for the most part. So Brooklyn will continue to be an attractive option. That's what we're going for here. All right, let's go through it. We don't need to go to the methodology again. We talked about it last time. Let's just talk about a couple of the numbers. Sales improved from last quarter with early signs of a potential rebound. Average sales price, $968,796. The median sales price, like we said, $792,000. Average condo price, $989,000. Average co-op price, $606,000. Average house price, so that's a house. It could be a single, 2 or 3 family house. It's just a smidge under 1.1 at $1,093,000. Average price per square foot, $757. Average days on market, less than Manhattan, 139 days, which is way up from 90 days in pre-COVID times, 70 to 90. Average discount 9%, less than Manhattan, but there are discounts. Buyers are looking for discounts and they're getting them in certain scenarios. Obviously, every property is different. And 25% of the properties took more than 180 days. That's about half, not half, but almost half compared to Manhattan. So discounts fluctuate very slightly compared to the third quarter in 2019. Co-op sales prices were distributed differently, forcing the median price down 8% and the average price up. So the difference between average and median, the average is divided across all, right? Across all transactions, where the median is the most amount of inventory data points. As the lower half of the market was priced lower, the upper half of the market was priced slightly higher. People upgrading. They want their townhouses. They want to, if they're going to spend more time at home and they're spending less time on travel, less time on food, things like that, they're spending on your house makes sense, especially with interest rates. Condos were more affordable this quarter while co-ops were more expensive. Again, co-ops tend to be, co-ops are more affordable. When things are more affordable, there's a little bit more demand. When co-ops are more expensive, so more people want to have them. Condos, a little bit more expensive. We had a run up. So houses continue to see higher prices, but no change in average size or average price per square foot was observed for homes. So condos, the inventory is down. Average discount is 6. Median price change is 0. Average price is down 2%. Average price per square Average price per square foot is down 5%. Average square footage is up. Co-ops inventory is down 39%. This is year over year, so we're comparing it year over year compared to, not to quarter two. Median price for co-ops down 8%. Average price for co-ops up 3%. Average price per square foot is up 7%. And average square footage is down 2%. And then houses, townhomes, homes, inventory is down 38%. Prices up. Median price is up 3%. Average price up 3%. Average price per square foot, 0. Average square footage, 0. So as you can see, compared to New York, less of an impact, but inventory is skewed. And like we said, when inventory goes down because the market was frozen, people are waiting to see what happens, data points skew different. So I do want to say, you just always look into it a little bit more. If you want to call me or message me if you want a specific neighborhood or price point and style of home, it does matter. It is different. The south side of or north side of a neighborhood is different. Even just a couple blocks. Like I know where I live, my block just doesn't get as higher square foot or higher as prices for square footage as something that's 1-2 blocks away, because we're a entrance to a 2 blocks or 3 blocks away, but entrance to a highway. 50% of condos and 55% of houses sold for $500 to $1 million. At 5 and 4% increase in the market share, respectively, compared to quarter 3. So that means more of those transactions, like you can see here. So we're gonna go to the right here. The data in Manhattan was really skewed by these high end stuff, right? This high priced portion, where is Brooklyn? We're really in the 500 to 1 million. All right, that's where it is. Obviously, and then if you see the percentage of units and then the average size, so that it skews the data. Like, sound like a dead horse, but properties sold for $3 million above were the least impacted by the pandemic and economic changes, and also saw the greatest increase in average price, 3%. The median price for properties sold for less than $500,000 fell 5%, the most in any group. 3 million and up sales were the fastest to sell, while the 500 to 1 million range was the slowest to sell on average. South Brooklyn had the greatest number of sales, climbing 2% year over year to 52%, which was most of which were homes. South Brooklyn is very different from the rest of Brooklyn. It's a lot like Mill Basin, Bay Ridge, Diker Heights. It's single family homes, 2-family homes with like a little bit of yard. So just the inventory, how it was built is different. The majority of co-ops, 61%, sold for less than $500,000 and up 6% in market share year over year. North Brooklyn had the greatest decrease in average price, declining 8%, while Northwest Brooklyn had the largest increase, climbing 12%. Look at this is total inventory, as you saw before, 500 to a million, the most, 500 to a million, pretty much dominating. And then if you want to go and break this down yourself, it's all the data I went through. It's just breaking it down by the price points. If you want to get more specific, condo versus co-op, housing as well. And this is overall, we have a very large city. Things are different for every neighborhood, like I say. And you never want to look at the broad picture. It does give you a pulse on what's happening, no doubt. But, you always want to look for yourself and go deeper into the details. That building, that specific unit, that layout, outdoor space, the condition of the apartment, the neighborhood, because it's very different. It's a big place, broad brushes, paint terrible pictures, even though I just gave you that market report. But you get the gist of it, right? And then when you want to get the nuance, you got to go deep into the details. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Follow me on YouTube at Marcus Amadeus, on Instagram at Marcus Amadeus. The podcast is called Ask Amadeus. If you're just listening, thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Tell a friend. If you're looking to buy, sell, or rent in New York, I'm your guy. We also provide all sorts of services for relocation as well. We helped a friend buy in Denver. We helped a friend relocate to New Jersey this year. We have rentals all across the New Jersey as well, upstate. So we are here to help you. And the advantage is that if you have someone who's helping you, who knows what you're looking for, we also bring other people in our team in. If you're relocating, a local expert, because we'll get the gist of what you need and what's appropriate and the market prices. But when it comes down to the nuances, you want someone local. And then we provide a second layer of support. We also have discounted moving services through flatrate.com, so I can set you up with that. And then our local contractors, if you're not looking to sell and you just want to renovate, or you need some help moving forward, or just renovating your place to sell, we help with that. So listen, the point is we cover it all, okay? So enjoy the rest of the weekend. It's Sunday. God bless. Have a beautiful day. Go to some open houses if it's still legal where you are, and enjoy. Have a good day. Bye.